fair to be threatening an election when Canadians are focused on the pandemic crisis?
Look, we're focused on the pandemic crisis. Is it fair for the opposition to try to propose a committee that will effectively shut down our ability to govern and actually help Canadians during a crisis? That's the real question. And I think that's what we avoided today. We're going to be here to govern. We want to govern.
They've got some very serious concerns still about an ongoing, ethics investigation.
They will be able to do that through this committee, but the committee that they had proposed was unprecedented in parliamentary terms. It would have had the ability to compel ministers to appear, for example. Yeah. All of this would have been done simply to impede Parliament and actually our ability to govern on behalf of Canadians during a pandemic.
Yeah. Are you preparing for an election if that happened?
We're here to govern. We know that there's a pandemic. We're here to focus on Canadians. That's what we plan to do.
Yep.
And that's our priority. But we're not going to.
Worst case scenario, right?
Look, we are here on behalf of Canadians, and we are pleased. We're pleased and honored to govern, and we hope that will continue. Thank you.
Minister Blair, afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you all?
Very good. Is it fair to threaten an election when you disagree with the opposition like this?
I think it's absolutely fair to make sure that Parliament has the ability to focus on what's important to Canadians, and we've got a great deal of work to do to continue to support Canadians through a very difficult time. That's what we're focused on.
We're mid-pandemic right now. Is this distracting from the focus of focusing on Canadians?
I can tell you, we never lose our focus on ensuring that we're doing everything possible to protect and keep Canadians safe and to support Canadians through this very difficult time.
Any updates on long-term care? Any agreements made with the provinces going into this?
No, we're basically in discussions with them, as you know, and we're continuing to work the issue of how to improve things in long-term care for seniors.
Are we going into an election?
At this point, we're going to find out today.
Yeah. Do you think it's right that the Liberals threaten an election every time the opposition disagrees with your government?
I think what the Liberals, what I'm focused on with my colleagues, is on Canadians and getting the improvements that we need to do to support them through this pandemic. That's where our focus is. Yeah. Thank you.
Just back on long-term care quickly. Some care homes in Ontario say that they might not be able to get liability insurances because of the state of the care homes there. Has the government looked at it? Where do you stand on supporting these homes if they don't get the insurance?
Yeah, we just got those letters requesting assistance, so we're going to be looking at that, and we'll have more to say soon. Thank you. Take care.
I'm very relieved that the Parliament will be able to continue to serve Canadians. We have important legislation that we need to bring forward in order to make sure that the wage subsidy will be extended for our entrepreneurs, that the rent subsidy will be created. This is absolutely critical. We are still in the middle of a pandemic. Our responsibility, above and beyond anything else, is to Canadians.
Is it fair to Canadians to threaten an election every time you disagree with the opposition?
I think it's fair to continue to focus on Canadians. I think it's absolutely our job to continue to focus on the response to the pandemic, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Focus on Canadians?
This is in order to make sure that Parliament can continue to function. If we can't put forward legislation, we can't continue to support Canadians.
Is it true? Are you gonna, like, Mr. Singh says he's gonna use the ethics committee to question the government response to the pandemic? What's your comment on this?
There are a number of committees that the opposition parties can continue to use, and I encourage them to do so. I think the important thing is that Parliament continue to work and continue to serve Canadians. Thank you.
Minister, are you ready for an election? Printing the yard signs?
No, I don't think Canadians want an election.
Are we going to see the government fall today?
Well, the only people who seem to want an election is Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, and it is unbelievable to see the lengths that he will go to avoid answering just a few simple questions about the WE scandal. So, we'll see. We've got a vote coming up in a couple of hours. We have a very reasonable motion that establishes a committee. It is not a confidence motion, but Trudeau seems to be quite intent on doing whatever he needs to do to protect himself. So time will tell.
Are you able to reach any agreements with the NDP?
Well, we have a very reasonable motion that should be able to be agreed upon certainly by the opposition parties. Trudeau's the one who is making this into an election issue, and it shouldn't be.
If the government does go down, will you try to govern with the Bloc? Is this the time to be forcing an election?
we're not looking for an election. We're looking for probity. We're looking for a government that works correctly according to the interest and the value of everyone in Quebec and in Canada also. I think we don't want a government to spend the money without any liability. So that's what we're looking for. If that government doesn't want to answer our question, doesn't want to help us to have a light on this scandal, that's his problem. It's very bad, very sad for everyone, but this is not our decision.
Do you think the Conservatives have a point? There's more to be found out about the wee scandal?
For sure. Just look at what we found out during this summer. It was so important that the government decided to close the parliament. The finance minister resigned. So all of that, I really believe we have other things to see. And this morning again, another scandal. So they have to answer our question. If they don't want to answer, well, that's their decision. I cannot force them to answer it. I'm not a policeman, but that's our job to make a light on that, and we will do it. Thanks. Bye.